Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my SIL's public apology after she lied about my son? IF 35 have a 37-yo brother. He's married with 2 kids. My sister-in-law and I never been on good terms. She's always been disrespectful towards me. It affected my closeness with my brother and my relationship with him, although he'd apologize for her behavior and agree she's in the wrong. Some of the things she's done aside from the hurtful comments were that she wore inappropriate clothes at my husband's funeral. Took selfies, then went to welcome her friends who didn't even know my husband. She made it all about her. She suggested that I put my 6-year-old sick son, he had a heart condition, up for adoption since single mothers have lower chances at meeting someone. She announced her pregnancy at the hospital where my son was admitted. I've distanced myself from her. 3 weeks ago, Monday morning, the night before, my son was having a surgery and it was done at 8 a.m. She posted that my son passed away at 9 a.m. on Facebook after tried to call me, causing my entire family to freak out, and I heard this from them after my sister called me and was crying. I informed them my son was fine. I found out my sister-in-law did this on purpose. While my brother was out of town, he packed his bags and left their house after he berated her. She said she thought he was dead after I refused to take her call. I was devastated. I had people calling to extend their condolences. My brother called me days later and he was crying. He kept saying he was sorry for the hurt his wife caused me and that he wanted to come see me but was too ashamed to look me in the eyes. Later my parents came to see me, saying my brother left his home after a huge argument with his wife and they were worried for the kids' future since my brother said that he's willing to work things out in therapy with his wife but she needed to apologize to me first, otherwise their marriage won't be able to move on. Said he swore up and down that he won't stay in the same house as my sister-in-law or speak to her until she apologizes publicly. I told them I don't want to see her, but they argued, saying they don't want for this issue to get more complicated and that their grandkids deserve a stable home, not their parents divorcing, especially since my sister-in-law is pregnant. I refused and I lashed out at them, saying I won't come to her public apology after they suggested a time, place. They said my resentment and stubbornness will be the reason why my niece and nephew will suffer, but I still refused. Not the asshole. She publicly announces your son's death. You owe that sociopath nothing. Your brother needs to run away. Lawyer up, show her for what she is to a judge, get custody and protect his kids from this venomous creature. He sounds like a decent human. Help him, support him and work together. Your parents are delusional for wanting their grandkids to grow up with this sociopath for a mother. Again, and I can't stress that enough, nobody in their right mind announces the death of someone else's child. It's malicious, callous, irresponsible and downright crazy. Not the asshole. She said your son was dead while he was in surgery because you did not take her call again while he was in surgery. Fuck her. I hope she gets over herself, or her kids are going to wind up that way too. Your parents want you to attend a public apology by a horrible human being so your brother won't divorce her? What the fuck is wrong with your parents? If they don't want their son to divorce his wife, then they should be pressuring him to go home. Protect your son and yourself. Tell the crazy people to leave you alone. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You don't have to go to her public apology because you are not required to accept an apology, especially one for something so cruel. If your family isn't happy about that, that's on them. You can't regulate their feelings. My resentment and stubbornness will be the reason why my niece and nephew will suffer. No, they'll suffer because they're being raised by a narcissist. NTA. As of right now, I don't think her apology would even be genuine. She would only be doing it because her husband threatened divorce. Maybe if she gets therapy and understands that what she did was horrible and genuinely wants to apologize and make amends, then listen to her apology, but until then listening to a fake apology isn't going to help anyone. She will keep doing her attention-seeking behavior no matter who it hurts. Not the asshole. Her excuse was, I assumed he died because you didn't answer your phone. If she actually believed that, she's not mentally stable. If she said it because she was pissed because you didn't answer her call, she's not mentally stable. Either way, it's not good for her to be raising kids. Period. Not the asshole. She needs to be diagnosed with whatever mental health condition she has. And if the husband wants her to make a public apology, then she should do it on Facebook so that every one of her friends and family can see she is a liar. You don't have to see her ever again. That's not a reasonable expectation. Not the asshole. This woman is bonkers and you have every right to never speak to her again. I am so sorry this happened to you. Not the asshole, and anyone in your family supporting this woman is beyond awful. Someone who would do such a thing is honestly mentally ill, and your brother should be getting his children away from her as soon as possible. Not the asshole. Look, I get it, they want you to do this for the children. That's not how this works. She did something horrible, absolutely one of the worst things she could have done, because you didn't answer your phone. No. You owe them nothing, your time, your attention, they deserve nothing. Sometimes getting a divorce is the best thing for the children so they don't live with miserable parents that hate each other. And I would hate to have a mother like that. Stand your ground, stand by your living son. No, the reason your niece and nephew are having issues is because their mother is a self-absorbed loony who feels the need to prioritize her attention meter over the factual break of the day. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The SIL is dead to you, they have to accept that. Glad your son is okay. Not the asshole. However, I would consider attending the public apology. I would demand details and extract a full confession and then tell her that you don't accept her apology and that you'll cut off any and all people from your life that support her. Make a huge deal about it. Be sure to make sure that everyone knows you are serious, destroy your SIL support base, and then go to every court hearing you can and tell the judge what kind of person she is. Not the asshole. This is one of the most FD up things I have ever heard. They shouldn't be putting this on you. It isn't. They sound just desperate as heck to help their son and his kids, but realistically nothing you do will help them since their mother is so insane. Not the asshole. She used the idea of your son dying to hurt you. The consequences of her actions are on her, no one else. If you don't want to meet with her, then that is completely up to you. No one should be trying to force you. She is the one that damaged everything. No one else. Not the asshole. You owe this lunatic and everyone supports her absolutely nothing. Not the asshole. Your SIL's absolutely batshit insane actions are the reason her children will suffer, not anything you have or have not done. If your parents say anything else, point that out to them and tell them that if they bring it up again, you will cut them out of your life entirely. Not the asshole. SIL is a major one, but that's obvious. Your brother is one for making his relationship hinge on you accepting this woman's apology. Tell him she can write it in a letter. And then tear it to pieces and burn it when you get it. But to leave you out of it. You don't need to witness her crocodile tears. Edit. Also, you don't owe anyone forgiveness. They apologize and ask for it, but you don't have to give it. If they are so hell-bent on it, they aren't really sorry in the first place. Not the asshole. First, I am glad that your son is okay. This woman is an unhinged narcissist. Talk to your brother and inform him that you do not want a public apology from this woman. If she is truly sorry, then she can ask to meet with you privately and/or send you a sincere, written apology. I am so very sorry that this happened to you and that your family are trying to make the fallout from this calamity your responsibility. Good luck. They don't want the issue to get more complicated? What kind of monster does this sort of thing? She will be the reason why she loses her marriage. I would never accept her apology. This is the most evil thing I've read on here. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I would never speak to her again, and if your brother stays with her I wouldn't speak to him either. Not the asshole. This bleep told everyone your son died, but somehow you are responsible for their marriage. No. Your responsibility is to your son and nobody else. Your SIL is mentally ill. Her apology is worthless. Please steer clear of all of these people. Not the asshole. Love that they place the suffering of your niece and nephew over your own child's genuine suffering and the insane abusive behavior you've had to suffer with. Telling. Not the asshole. She needs therapy. I hope she gets the help she needs. What she says and has done was awful. FFS, why are you parents trying to put blame for the failure of your brother's marriage on you? Your niece and nephew are better off having their parents divorced, and hopefully your brother will get full custody. There is no reason you should accept her apology. There's no reason for you to feel any guilt about the situation, and you are not the asshole. Also, your parents owe you an apology, and a sincere one at that. That is not how things work. You don't get forced to attend an apology spectacle just to make your brother feel better about standing up for you. None of this is about you. You, your son and your niece and nephew are just collateral damage. Stay away. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She sounds toxic and narcissistic as hell. Keep her away from you and your son. If you accept this apology, it leaves you open to more abuse, and you don't owe your brother or parents that. Not the asshole. Wow. Your SIL needs professional help. Not the asshole. They cannot blame you for any of this. She went too far, and to be honest, no apology, public or not, can undo her actions. It's also not your fault in any way how this affects their marriage. That's entirely on her. This woman is honestly heartless and needs therapy. TBH though, after all she has put you through on top of your own experiences, you should also seek therapy to move past all this. What the fuck? Telling people your son died is insane. You don't owe her anything. Not the asshole. She is evil. Full stop. You are better for not having her in your life. You do nobody any favors by showing up, especially if that would lead to a reconciliation. I hope your brother comes to his senses and rescues those poor children. Anyway, even if she does apologize publicly, you don't have to be there to witness or endure it. Let others communicate the Cliff Notes version. This has nothing to do with you because you and she are already over. Not the asshole. Your SIL is an attention junkie who does really inappropriate things. So her atonement for her attention-seeking behavior is a public apology? Really? You are not responsible for your brother's marriage. If their union is really that fragile, then maybe it's time to pull the Band-Aid off. Nor are you required to accept her self-serving apology. Is it really even an apology if you're being coerced into accepting it? I'm sorry for the loss of your husband and I'm glad your boy is okay. Not the asshole. I would cut contact on your parents and your brother's soon-to-be ex-wife. What she did was disgusting and horrible, and frankly I think there's more than what leads on, and this is what broke the camel's back. My opinion is focus on you and your child and tell your parents to back the fuck off or go on the no contact with the bonus of letting the whole family know why. Hate to break it to grandma and grandpa, but those kids will never be in a stable home as long as SIL is present. Pretty sure they are future posters on our raised by narcissists. Not the asshole. You have no obligation to accept any of her disingenuous apologies. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I got through the second paragraph and realized that she is a complete asshole, and you should totally feel comfortable cutting her off completely. What she did is inexcusable, and I would never want someone like that in my life. You do not need to accept any type of apology from her. If your brother wants her to apologize, she can do that for him and everyone else. You do not owe anyone the pain of putting up with her shit or her likely bullshit apology. Not the asshole. She is allowed to apologize, you do not have to be there, and you do not have to accept it, especially when she is probably only apologizing to save her marriage. Also, is the idea of essentially an apology party weird to anyone else? Like we are going to meet up at this place, at this time, with a group of people so that we can rehash something hurtful that happened? It's not even my meeting and my anxiety is through the roof just thinking about it. Not the asshole. She's a nutter. Write her off and own your power in choosing not to deal with it, her, or make anyone feel better about it. Don't entertain this nonsense with any emotional labor. Nope is the answer to anything anyone says. Create stronger boundaries with regard to folks' access to your life and goings-on. Maybe she has something diagnosable like borderline personality disorder. Not the asshole. Kids will have a much more stable home once they rid themselves of that monster. Lying about your son's death is an unforgivable act that cannot be forgiven with any apology. Tell her to shove her apology up her ass as far as it will go and refuse to have anything to do with her. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your bro set the tone here. He should not have included others in his needs to accept his wife again. Not the asshole. Good for you. This isn't your problem, you've got enough on your plate. Not the asshole. She told everyone your son was dead, and apparently didn't retract that because you're still getting condolence calls? She took selfies at your husband's funeral, told you to ditch your son because you wouldn't get another man if you had him, and apparently hasn't apologized to you for any of this? She's got real mental issues. Any public apology will be all about her and not real anyway. Skip it. Not the asshole. Some things cannot be forgiven. Not the asshole. She doesn't get to apologize and think herself forgiven. She gets to hide her face in shame every time she hears your name for the rest of her life. What is it with people encouraging the person who was wrong to accept something ridiculous in order to keep the peace? I see that all the time on this subreddit, and it's weird to me that family, friends don't double down on the asshole. Not the asshole. Sorry you have to deal with this sociopath. Not the asshole. She's a grown woman and has to learn to deal with the consequences of her actions. Sounds like her parents never taught her that or any decent manners in general. You've already been through enough. You don't owe anyone anything. It's not your fault they are possibly getting a divorce, it's hers. I think it's absolutely horrid that your parents suggest that. You have a child in the hospital and they want you to let her come apologize? Gosh, that's a hard one. I wonder if an online apology detailing what she did and asking for your forgiveness would be better all around. This doesn't appear to be a one-time instance. It's a trend. Why is that on you? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Their mother being a complete asshole is why your niece and nephew will suffer. Your brother having chosen to marry a petty hateful witch is right up there on the list of reasons. The fact that you aren't interested in seeing what shitshow she can turn a public apology into after having already publicly declared your child deceased is not the problem here. Those kids won't have a stable home just because their parents aren't divorced. They might be better off with more, different influences. I hate to think what crazy she spews at them, calling it normal. Not the asshole, and your parents need to get their priorities straight. Your brother needs to get those kids away from that nut.